If your life has felt like one battle after another and you still can't figure out what you did to deserve it, this video is going to make a lot of things click for you. So if you ever felt different your entire life, and no matter where you go, you never fully fit in, there's a reason why your path looked different from everyone else's. There's a reason why your path has looked the way it has. And once you understand the loneliness, the betrayal, and the feeling of just being misunderstood, it'll all start to make sense. So stay with me because by the end of this video, you should have a better understanding. And it all starts with understanding what it actually means to be a chosen one. When people hear the phrase chosen one, they imagine someone living an easy life, someone favored and blessed with opportunities. But the chosen ones that I'm talking about are the ones who've been through the most. These are the people who kept going when they had every reason to stop, and the ones who felt different their entire life and can never fully explain why. And being chosen often comes with challenges that most people never see. Being chosen doesn't mean that life will be easy. People don't see the battles, the tears, and all the lonely nights when you're trying to understand why your life feels so much more harder than everyone else's. But let me tell you this, when God has a calling on your life, the pressure is different, the tests are different, and the attacks are much more different. God's chosen ones often go through things that don't make sense while they're in it. You may be rejected by the people you expected to support you. You may even be betrayed by the people you trusted. You may find yourself constantly fighting battles that nobody else can see. And after a while, you start asking yourself, why does this keep happening to me? Why do my life feel so different? The answer is because God often separates his chosen ones. He separates them before he elevates them. Being chosen, it often means that you've been set apart for a purpose. You're called to grow in ways that other people may never understand. Life keeps pushing you toward becoming who you're meant to be, even when it's uncomfortable. Let me ask you this. Have you ever sat in front of a room full of people and you still felt alone, or were surrounded by friends, but nobody truly understood you? That's a common experience for chosen ones. And one of the things that I notice is that real chosen ones, they can often recognize one another. It's hard to explain, but there's a certain energy and a certain level of self awareness and just a shared understanding that comes from living a life that most people can never relate to. As a chosen one, it can feel like you're constantly being targeted. A lot of chosen ones, they spend the years feeling misunderstood by friends, family members, and even people that they love. You may even experience manipulation, jealousy, and just different forms of abuse. Sometimes it feels like no matter how good you are and how good your intentions are, certain people are determined to misunderstand you, compete with you, or just try to tear you down. After a while, you start to notice that your life experiences are different from others. And the hardest part about being a chosen one is forming deep friendships. Connections may feel impossible. A lot of the time, the chosen ones spend most of their life single because genuine connections are hard to come by. It's difficult to connect with people. There may be moments when you wonder why your path seems much more harder than everyone else's. But when you're highly spiritual and awakened, your tolerance for certain behaviors become very low. And you can't ignore these things that other people ignore. You can't pretend to not see unhealthy patterns or destructive behaviors. So it becomes harder to stay connected to people who haven't done the work for themselves. And one of the hardest lessons of God's chosen ones is that being called by God, it will sometimes make you lonely. Sometimes you'll find yourself walking a path that not a lot of other people understand. Sometimes you'll outgrow relationships, but you'll have to trust God even when nobody else around you understands what He's doing in your life. And that's often part of the process. Before God can use you for a greater purpose, He may separate you from people. He may separate you from places and habits that no longer belong in the next chapter of your life. People who are healing, they'll be inspired by your growth. People who refuse to heal may become uncomfortable. They don't want to be around it. And that's why chosen ones, they often experience some of the things that I mentioned previously, because genuine connections become harder when you're committed to growing spiritually. But it's about recognizing that you're operating from a different level of awareness and spirituality. And a lot of people aren't ready for that. The more you awaken, the smaller your circle will become because fewer people align with who you're becoming. And that's why loneliness, once again, is common when you're chosen one. So being chosen can be a lonely path. It's filled with challenges that most people don't understand, but it's also a path that teaches strength, wisdom, self mastery. And there are moments when you wish your life looked more like everyone else's. Deep down, you know you were never meant to walk the same path as everyone else. And sometimes that journey, it requires walking alone for a while. When people are bothered by you walking alone and in your purpose, that's just confirmation that you're doing something right. And that's the clearest sign that you're on your path. Think about it. You don't get resistance for staying the same. You get pushback. And when the plan that you have for yourself is starting to take form, the resistance is proof. I think that when you have a real plan for your life, an actual vision, where you're going and what you're trying to build, that plan becomes your anchor. It's what keeps you from getting pulled back down by other people. See, when you don't have a plan, every opinion matters too much. Every person who pulls you away, it feels like a reason for you to slow down. Because without a clear direction, you're vulnerable to everyone else's energy. But when you know exactly where you're going and you wake up every day with a purpose that's bigger than what anyone around you think about it, their discomfort, it stops being your problem. Let me tell you something. It's okay to love people, but you still don't have to let them redirect your path. Wish them well and you keep it moving. Keep it moving without them. Have a real plan because it gives you something to come back to when it's nothing but chaos around you. But when you are feeling the resistance from other people and you're trying to figure out how to navigate without losing yourself or without losing a relationship, just let people be who they are because you can't change them. It's important for you to get clear on your purpose, though. Write your plan down. What does it look like in 2 to 3 years from now? Because when you have a written plan, it's harder to ignore than just thinking about it. And when people around you are starting to make you feel like you're doing too much, that plan will remind you of exactly why you can't stop. And another thing, find your people, the ones who's building something, the one who pushes you forward instead of pulling you back. And you just keep going because the worst thing that you could do right now is to stop. The people who are bothered by your growth are counting on you to stop. They're waiting for you to come back down to where they are, but don't give them that. So if you know someone who's going through this right now, somebody who's on their path and feeling alone, share this with them because sometimes you just need to hear that what you are experiencing is normal for the chosen one. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.